The initial seed of the iPhone was planted in 1998 when a company named Fingerworks was founded. The goal of this company was to create trackpads that could use touch gestures, which would be great for people who suffered from hand disabilities, as its founder had. In 2002, an Apple employee was using a Fingerworks trackpad. This fascinated many Apple employees, and so they formed a division to try different things with the new technology that Fingerworks had created. In 2004, then Apple CEO Steve Jobs was diagnosed with cancer. He then decided that Apple needed to do something great. He then didn't think that Apple should make a phone because it was a niche market. In 2005, Steve Jobs officially stated, "We need to make a phone," and development for it officially began. Funny enough, the different teams at Apple could only see certain parts of the iPhone. Only Steve Jobs knew what the final product would look like. The original setback of the iPhone's development was that no one knew what type of software would work best for it. One team worked on an iPod-like interface, while the other worked on a pared-down version of macOS to run on the iPhone. After both teams had worked on the iPhone, one Apple employee from the macOS iPhone team brought home a prototype and gave it to his 3-year-old daughter. She understood how to work it almost perfectly without anyone teaching her. However, the only drawback was the keyboard. It was not easy to use. The employee then reported it to Steve Jobs. He then ordered that for 2 weeks both iPhone software teams would have to design a keyboard for the iPhone. At this point, Apple employees had to work all day and all night. Many Apple employees quit at this time. Others were fired. Some employees had declining health. Others got divorced. It was such a stressful time that the release of the macOS Leopard got internally delayed twice. Finally, both teams came up with a keyboard for the iPhone, and Apple decided to make the iPhone's operating system a pared-down version of macOS. It would later become iOS. One Apple employee had managed to come up with a bounce-back animation for the iPhone when you finished scrolling through a list. When he initially showed this to Steve Jobs, Steve was speechless for several seconds until he stated, "Show me again." This animation obviously made it to the final product. However, there was still one major question with the iPhone. How would you unlock it? One Apple employee was on a flight and went to the restroom. While he was in there, he thought that the simple slide-to-unlock mechanism of the bathroom door would work well on the iPhone. This obviously made it to the final product. On January 9th, 2007, the iPhone was officially announced with the famous quote, "A phone, an iPod, an internet communicator. A phone, an iPod, an internet communicator." Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device, and we're calling it iPhone. The time of the keynote was 9:42, which was what time was shown in the original iPhone box and ad. This was later changed to the famous 9:41 a.m. time. During the keynote, Steve Jobs infamously prank called Starbucks when demonstrating how you could call a business's number right from the Maps app and asked for 400 lattes to go. They obviously hung up and must have been watching the keynote too, as they would have otherwise given Steve Jobs 400 lattes. A forgettable but essential moment from the keynote was when Steve Jobs was demonstrating the contacts list in the iPhone app and deleted Tony Fadell's contact who had created the iPod. For Apple employees, it meant that Tony was in trouble. Whilst he still did have his job as he was the co-creator of the iPhone, it did signify that his product that he created himself, the iPod, was in trouble, which indeed would be once the iPhone became popular enough. Another forgotten but essential moment from the keynote was when Steve Jobs was demonstrating split-screen apps on the iPhone. This never made it nor exists officially now on the iPhone. After the announcement of the initial iPhone, people's opinions were mixed. Many people were excited for it and loved it. However, others either thought it wouldn't succeed or that it was too expensive, the latter opinion being what opinion my mother had when she first heard about the iPhone. Microsoft CEO at the time, Steve Ballmer, stated in an interview that the iPhone wouldn't succeed because it did not have a physical keyboard, hence making typing emails harder, hence making businesses and business people not wanting them. BlackBerry, then officially titled Research in Motion, also didn't think the iPhone would succeed. On the other hand, Google delayed the launch of the first Android phone a year to make it more competitive against the iPhone. 6 months before the launch of the iPhone, Steve Jobs ordered the iPhone's front, excluding the home button, to be made out of glass instead of plastic, and so they changed it to glass, specifically Gorilla Glass by Corning. Finally, on June 29, 2007, the iPhone went on sale for the first time. People were so excited that some were camping out overnight in front of Apple stores. officially start at $500 for 4 gigabytes of storage and at $600 for 8 gigabytes of storage. And at least in the United States, was exclusively available to AT&T. Originally, it seemed that Steve Ballmer and Research in Motion were right, because iOS 1.0 had many peculiar bugs, such as iPhones not charging from flat without being plugged into a computer, sometimes there being no Wi-Fi, and the iPhone dropping calls. However, over time, the iPhone improved. In September 2007, Apple discontinued the 4GB iPhone 2G. In January 2008, Apple introduced the 16GB iPhone 2G to be sold alongside the 8GB model and started at $799. In June 2008, the first iPhone was officially nicknamed the iPhone 2G. Apple officially listed it as iPhone after the iPhone 3G was launched because the 2G only connects to 2G networks. In July 2008, Apple discontinued the iPhone 2G altogether. In 2010, Apple dropped iOS support of the iPhone 2G, leaving it only able to update it to iOS 3.1.3 and not the then new iOS 4. In 2018, the iPhone 2Gs began noticeably appreciating value after 10 years of depreciating in value. Now it's time to answer the question you all have been waiting a long time for. What features did the original iPhone on iOS 1.0 lack? Well, the camera was very simple, even compared to other phones at the time. Just take a photo, that's it. No flash, no front camera, no official video recording option. There are Cam 4 apps and jailbreak tweaks to bypass that, though. There was no app store. You couldn't move around apps nor set a home screen wallpaper. The Homely button only went home. The screen was a 3.5-inch 360p non-retina panel. There was only one color choice. That was it. Thank you all for watching this video. If you want to know more about the first iPhone's development, you should go check out Cold Fusion's documentary about, linked down in the description. Did any of you own the iPhone 2G back in the day? And if not, what was your first iPhone? Please comment that down below and interact with stuff below, including the dislike button. As always, I am the iTunes fanboy, and peace out.